Now, as you might imagine, the majority of messages sent out by clubs are really targeted towards members, so we'll leave it at that first stop. And then we can consider our step 3. What type of message are we sending? There are 2 types of messages you can send using this marketing tool. One is an email message, and the other is a text message, as in the type of text message that we would receive on our cell phone. Text messages are really great if you've got quick bites or a complimentary sort of promotion that you'd like to do. For instance, you have a frost delay on the golf course, or the club is going to be closed for a holiday, or maybe you just want to send out a quick blast to let everyone know a popular event's now available for reservations. Maybe October 1st we can say, you know, your New Year's Eve gala is now available for reservations. Call such and such number to book your spot today. So you can do those text messages as nice quick bites. Again, there are limitations on how long those can be, and of course, you know, we can't include photos and graphics and things like that. So I'd still say 95% of the messages that are going out through our system are email, but certainly text messages have found a place in club communications and are getting more and more popular. For our first example, I'm going to go ahead and do send an email message. And then we'll look at our step 4, which is how we want to send our emails out to members. Now, there are several ways that we can target market. One of those ways is to create different member groups or different segments of members based on information we know. Who's on the board of directors, who has purchased wine in the last month, who has a birthday in the month of November, information that we have on file. The other is here, and it's available for you in step 4, and that's allowing members to designate different types of notifications. So in your website, in their profile, members can sign up for different notification types. So I want to receive information about bridge. I want to receive information about men's golf programs, but I'm not interested in tennis, and I'm not interested in the swim team. So here, under notification type, we can send automatically to just whatever default email address exists for members, or I can say I'm only sending to a certain notification group. And again, these are things that people will sign up for. So I'm only sending this to people who've signed up for my newsletter or people who've signed up for tennis news. And when I do that, it's going to segment that out. Now, how this relates to a specific member, you know, could actually be quite complex. For an example, you know, I have multiple email addresses. I may want my member statement to go to my business email address, but I may want all of my other notifications, like tennis news, to go to my personal email address. So this really allows the member to designate, you know, where certain types of notifications, where certain types of information need to be. And we'll brush quickly on notification types once we go through this first example. But I would say, again, for most of you sending emails, you're using default email address. And I would dare say, if you're new to ClubSoft or new to using the marketing or the website tools, I always recommend using the default email address, typically for at least the first 2 to 3 months. And then after that, after you've given your members the opportunity to put in some preferences, then you can start sending out very targeted, you know, messages just for tennis news, just for swim team, etc. So we have options in terms of which email address we're sending to, the default, or again, if the member specified something in particular, signed up for a specific type of notification. Step 5 is again something we've actually already selected when we created our campaign, but it does allow us to change if we want to connect it to, again, an event on the calendar or a price schedule. Now, before I kind of move to the next step, this is typically the area where we get the most questions.
Unmuted.
Unmute the lines and open it up if you've got any questions regarding these first 5 steps. Any questions regarding the campaign, the recipients, the notifications?
Yeah, Sandy, you had sent us some managed templates that you had preloaded in there for us.
Mm-hmm. And who is this? I'm sorry?
Marlena. This is Marlena.
Okay.
And so I'm just wondering, you went to Marketing Wizard, and when you go into, is that where you would pull up, clone existing campaigns for the ones that you have already put in our managed templates?
That's a good question. No, I would say it's completely separate. So a campaign, and I think it's really the most difficult concept for marketing. A campaign is really just used for reporting purposes. This is the name of how we're going to track these emails, because we do let you group multiple emails together for reports. So it's not connected at all to the marketing template or how the email looks or is designed. If you want to take an existing template that's been created by ClubSoft, you go to edit it, it comes up with pictures and text. What I would recommend is simply to open it up, copy that information, create a new template, and paste. So there's not currently a way to clone an existing template, but copy and paste is such a common step that that's typically what most clients use.
Okay, that's what I needed to know. Thank you.
Okay, sure. Any other questions on campaigns, recipients, these first few steps?
I think I'm good.
All right, let me go ahead. I'm going to mute the lines one more time, and we'll go ahead and move forward. When we click Next to move to the very next screen, this is really where targeted marketing really comes into focus. And there are multiple ways that we can select specific groups of people. Now, as you notice, we see a couple of buttons here on the left. We have the option to select all, unselect all. Pretty simple there. Select all obviously checks everyone to be sent this message. Unselect will clear it. We also have a little icon here for clearing filters. As most of you are aware, just using the ClubSoft system in general, we have the ability to filter based on lots of different information. So as an example, let's say I want to limit any of these columns of information. So instead of the status being active, foreclosure, hot lead, leave of absence, maybe I want to make sure I'm only sending this to active members. This now changes who is being viewed in my list, and then I can select everybody who is, again, just has a status of active. Now let's say I want to limit that even more. I can look at the member group and say, well, I only want members A through G. And of course, all of your member groups are going to be a little different. But here, again, I can change that and have that be specific to that particular group. Now, one thing I think a lot of people miss when they're looking at this particular screen is we do have a horizontal scroll bar here at the bottom. And I can move this information to the right. There's a lot of controls in terms of other columns, other fields that I have. So if I'm only interested in people with a birthday in the month of November, I've now limited that group. And again, I can move back to my left. I can select all. Now I'm sending just to these members. Okay. So again, you can use these columns to limit who you want to see in that list and who you want to select from. Now, if for any reason you want to go back to scratch, you want to go back to the full list of all members in your system, that's what this icon here at the top is for. If I clear filters, it's going to clear it out completely and show me everyone in the list. Okay. So the two ways I've showed you, select all, unselect all, and then choosing, of course, any of these columns to make your list sort of narrow it down and be more specific. I would say the third option, which I'm going to show you, is probably the most popular, however, for grabbing a group of people, and that's the option to filter the list by a report. It's very simple, typically lets you run through multiple things, and it's usually got a little bit more familiarity for people using the system. If I choose this looking glass here at the top, you'll see I get a list of every single report that exists in the ClubSoft system: credit book transactions, event reservations, items purchased by members, member birthdays, etc. Let's start with a simple item, a member list. If I double-click on this particular report in this list, you'll see it brings up a brand new window that lets me, in essence, run that report.